Tangzhong method, or dough roux, because I'm not entirely positive I'm pronouncing Tangzhong correctly. This is what you will need to prepare this method. You want to measure out all of the flour and all of the liquid called for in your recipe, and then use about half a cup of the milk and 3 tablespoons of the flour to make your Tangzhong slurry. With the heat turned off, whisk the flour into the milk until there are no lumps. And then place your saucepan over low to medium low heat and cook the mixture, stirring nearly constantly until it thickens. This process is kind of like making a roux, but for bread dough. You heat the mixture until it's about 150 degrees, and according to King Arthur Baking Company, this pre-gelatinizes the flour's starches, which makes them more able to retain liquid. This additional moisture helps the bread stay fresh longer and gives it a super tender texture. The method has its roots in Japan, but it was popularized by Taiwanese cookbook author Yvonne Chin in her book 65 Degrees, which unfortunately I don't think is available in English at this time. The slurry has reached the correct consistency when you run the spoon across the bottom of the saucepan and it leaves a trail. So now scrape your slurry into the mixing bowl that you plan to make your dough in. This is important because the order of ingredients changes when you're using this method. You don't want the yeast to come in direct contact with the hot slurry. So start with the cold milk and then add all of the flour, the salt, any sugar that your dough calls for, and then add the yeast. This recipe also uses some softened butter, so I'm cutting it into pats to add as well. So the hot slurry will heat the cold milk enough to activate the yeast. You don't need to worry about proofing your yeast as long as you know that you have active yeast. Stir the mixture until it comes together as a dough. You can do this by hand like I am with a dough whisk, or you could use your stand mixer. Once you have a shaggy dough, turn it out onto a surface to knead, or switch to your dough hook and knead for 5 to 10 minutes until it is soft and supple. And then proceed with rising, shaping, and baking as directed in your recipe. I hope you enjoyed this video. For the complete recipe, including those cinnamon rolls, please visit us at arkansasonline.com/cooking.